welcome to the next video in the Ad Sales Management series. I'm Joe Hooper, Senior Director of Industry Products and Solutions at V2. I head up our Media Cloud practice and very excited today to speak with Candice Edwards, VP of Global Industry Strategy and Solutions, Media Entertainment at Salesforce. Candice, would you mind giving a quick intro, and then really excited to get into some topical conversations about Media Cloud.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Joe, for having me today. It's a rainy LA day, but in the Success from Anywhere environment, it's a perfect way for you and I to have hopefully a meaningful and lengthy chat about transformation and ad sales within media and entertainment, and certainly beyond, because we're seeing just a lot of movement and a lot of transformations in other industries like retail. So again, Candice Edwards. I work in our Global Industry Product and Solutions organization at Salesforce, really focused at developing industry-specific solutions for our media and entertainment customers globally. I've spent the better part of the last 20 years, for better or worse, at the nexus of technology, specifically within the media industry, with direct-to-consumer streaming platforms. It's really focused on maximizing customer lifetime value and putting the subscriber or customer as the single source of truth.
You touched on the rapid pace of change and transformation that we've seen in media in recent years. I'd love to get your perspective on how the landscape is evolving.
Well, we've seen with the pandemic, most shifts to digital accelerate exponentially across a variety of industries, if not all industries, and specifically in media and entertainment with the streaming platforms and access, consumers having access really from anywhere on any device. That shift to digital is really one of our most important imperatives at Salesforce. And I would argue across any technology company and any customer. If you're not going digital, you're going backwards. And so for us, again, we are the leading CRM company, but we do so many more things than just customer relationship management. But if you think about the core tenets of any business, managing that subscriber relationship, that customer relationship, that fan relationship will enable you to amplify and accelerate your business goals. And in this environment, again, the shift to digital being the biggest imperative, putting technology in place that will allow for companies, customers to transform to meet their customers where they're at, and they're everywhere. They're on social channels, they're certainly at home on connected televisions. And again, in our conversation, I'll try to keep it to a media and entertainment focus. We'll certainly evolve and talk about business to business and ad sales. But at the end of the day, advertisers and marketers are trying to reach consumers, their customers, and meet them where they want to be. So I think that's the biggest shift we're seeing in trend. That will continue as we slowly move out into what analysts are calling the recovery period from the pandemic. I'm not certain that we'll ever go back to live in the way that we used to. So when you think about other entertainment applicable areas, so live events, concerts, sports events, obviously globally, those industries have had to shift exponentially fast, like within weeks, right, in order to maintain connection to their fans or their subscribers.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case, and I think it presents a lot of challenges for media and entertainment companies to respond to this rapidly changing landscape. I'm curious, what are some of the top challenges sort of within the space that you're hearing about?
Well, companies generally have a very siloed approach to their business, right? I know we're talking about ad sales, so you're talking about the idea of sort of the chief growth officer, the chief revenue officer selling placement for the publisher, right? What does that look like? Then we have media buying, then we have agencies, then we have the customer, then we have the whole business and operations and flow of managing a media plan, fulfilling that plan, yield optimization on really putting dollars against certain campaigns and measuring real-time performance. There's a lot of systems that are in place. There's a system of record, and then there's sales systems, and then there's obviously delivery systems. So each of those systems are run by sort of different individuals, for lack of a better way to describe it. So the ability to connect those disparate systems and unlock the value and create transparency is an essential imperative, and the CEO and the board knows it, but it does take a bit of certainly buy-in, enablement, and really understanding what the shifts in outcomes will look like and how these particular individuals or teams will be measured in this new marketing economy.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think that aligns with what we're hearing from our customers. And historically, I think ad sales has required a multitude of systems and a lot of highly manual processes to run the business. And then when we look at the continued growth in digital and the need to meet customers where they are on a multitude of platforms, it sort of explodes out the problem and the challenges of doing those things in manual ways or semi-manual ways. So I think that's where there's an opportunity for technology to really be an enabler for growth in this new environment. And I'm curious to hear about some of the goals that Salesforce has to play a role in enabling this new digital world.
So, and it's a great question. Thank you, Joe. Maybe I'll take just one step back, because I think when you get to the size of a company like Salesforce, and I came from a very large tech company in the 90s that I will not name, where many of our executive leaders came from. We all sort of cut our teeth at this one particular database company. And it became a huge, billion-dollar company. We at Salesforce will become the fastest technology company to 50 billion in the history of all technology companies. So you say that and you think, how long is the history? Well, some say technology started, with Alexander Bell, but really over the last, 25, 30 years, we'll be the fastest to 50 billion. So with that, like I said, we do lots of things, and we acquire companies that enable us to go deeper and more significantly in certain areas, and to support an industry-specific go-to-market strategy to speak the language of our customers in that specific industry. And an industry has a lot of sub-verticals too. So sort of at a top level, you think about communications or telco and media. And then you think about media and entertainment. I might call it an industry, but it's actually a sector in terms of how the industry responds to and categorizes it. We acquired a company called Velocity, June of last year, right before we acquired Slack, which is an amazing acquisition as well. But Velocity was really built under the premise that if we were going to build applications and business flows and visualization tools to automate what we call digital process automation, to create efficiencies within these business flows for XYZ industry, in the case of us, ad sales, we needed to commit to that deeply through our technology. And so Velocity allowed us to do that. The telco industry was our largest, most prolific industry. And so over the last year, we have launched several products across the 7 to 12 industries for which Salesforce supports. And I think that takeaway is not small. Salesforce is going to the market with an industry perspective in everything we do. And we have these incredible product innovations that are cross-industry, like Slack. So the ability to do swarming when you're, let's say, Hulu, and you're servicing your subscribers, and you want to do this in an asynchronous yet AI-driven way, Slack is an awesome tool for that. We haven't even unlocked the power of how Slack and Salesforce can really accelerate customer service, as an example. And then we just announced our Net Zero Cloud. As we move into this next iteration, and again, this is sort of outside of ad sales, but it's really important, regardless of what use case or what feature set or what industry you're supporting, the ability to strive to be net zero. And as a company, our business customer, measuring how they're impacting the environment or how they're not impacting the environment. So those sort of measurement tools are sort of outside the main line of business that they might be monetizing. But these are the things that Salesforce thinks about from an industry first perspective, and that trickles out and permeates in everything that we do.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely critical to the future of Salesforce as a platform that is industry specific. And at V2, we have been focused on media and entertainment industry, extensively, and really have seen the value that we bring to our clients, speaking the language of media and understanding the common problems that are out there and the solutions that exist. So we're tremendously excited about Media Cloud as a standard Salesforce product that addresses these needs in the marketplace, and that there's going to be continued investment and growth over time. So that's why we're so tremendously excited at V2 about Media Cloud for all the reasons that you just mentioned.
I completely answered your last question, Joe. Sorry, you said where's Media Cloud, positioned, or where do you think the trajectory of Media Cloud is going, sort of in the next, set of fiscal years, et cetera. The applications themselves. So the ad sales market, as you know, is an enormous market, whether that be digital or a converged ad platform, which is what we offer. But fundamentally, when you're talking about sales and service, so when you're talking about leads and opportunities, regardless of what use case you happen to be talking about, in this case, we're talking about ad sales, or the servicing of those customers, or the servicing of those agencies in an ad sales environment, Media Cloud is the data model. So currently it's a managed package, and for a lot of the viewers that may make sense, it may not make sense, but a managed package essentially sits on top of Sales and/or Service Cloud. So you're taking advantage of all the benefits that come out of the box with Sales or Service Cloud. But then the data model is very industry specific. And I think you're going to go into that a bit further with one of my partners in crime, Stan Shaw, in a subsequent episode. Yes. But that's a very important distinction, that every media company, and when I say that, I say it universally, every media company from the enterprise level, what we call tier one media companies, studios and broadcasters, et cetera, down to the commercial, smaller companies, should be using Media Cloud as they transform their business flows and processes and application suites into the next iteration of subscriber management, of loyalty management, of ad sales management, of media commerce management, of IP licensing and rights management. These are sort of the critical focus areas in any media and entertainment company. And when I say any, I'm putting a wide swath with the term any, but these are the areas we feel Media Cloud as a whole, and our media and entertainment industry solutions as a whole, which include a variety of our ecosystem clouds. Marketing Cloud for attracting and acquiring, maintaining a relationship with a subscriber, a fan, or a customer. MuleSoft, I lovingly refer to MuleSoft as the Stitch Witch of technology, so the ability to integrate seamlessly into third-party systems, even some of our own systems. And of course, Tableau CRM for insights and visualization tools. And then of course, the Salesforce Industries product suite. These are all really essential together. They are better together, but absolutely can be positioned based on customer need individually. So I think there's lots of different scenarios, and V2, you as leading solutions and strategy for V2 probably see way more than I ever see, because your boots on the ground in the field. So I'd love to maybe turn the tables and ask you, based on your experience with Salesforce and what you've seen in the evolution of ad sales, where do you think the industry is going, and how do you think in combination with Salesforce, V2 can really help our customers reach their goals, whatever those goals happen to be?
Yeah, you mentioned the different revenue models that exist within media, whether that's subscriptions or memberships, as well as ad sales and rights licensing. So one of the things that we've always focused in on at V2 is the need to work with a variety of media revenue models and to bring that information together. So with some of our customers who are, for example, focused in a business-focused media, there's a lot of crossover between your ad buyers and your subscribers, and that's also a highly valuable audience. So I think when we look at bringing subscriber management and ad sales, among other revenue streams, into one centralized platform where we can capitalize on the value of the data that we have from a B2C perspective when we're talking about subscriptions, and a B2B perspective when we're talking about ad sales. It's really powerful to bring that together and look at B2C to B as an enabling business model in a lot of media companies. So I think it all goes back to that ability of having a standard platform that's built on open APIs that can tie in data from many different sources, and having that suite of products that can enable business process automation, analytics, all together, where we get one source of truth, but everyone who's involved in the entire prospect to cash process can have their own view of the data and the tools that will enable them to bring that data into their day-to-day workflows and make better decisions, work more efficiently, and ultimately drive revenue growth as well as containing costs.
Yep. Well, I'm glad this is being recorded, because that's exactly right. No wonder people hire V2.
I think it's a really exciting time, and I really appreciate the time today and the opportunity to talk about these topics.
Thank you. I'm grateful that you invited me, Joe. It's always a pleasure working with you and the team at V2, and I look forward to more continued success with our customers next year.
Awesome. Thank you.